And you'll be in a world of legendary moments will be captured. So stand up, scream, and make sure the boys feel you.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
What is going on, Cowboy Nation? Welcome back to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil, and no matter what, I am here to talk about Cowboys football and, of course, rivalry matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles for part two of this amazing NFL season that we've both been having. But one thing that I am happy to have here, and hopefully be holding down the fort more than I will, is, of course, Gametime Bryan. Gametime, welcome, 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 sir.
Primetime Phil, primetime. He is sucking it up for us. It's Eagles Cowboys week. Thank you, Phil, for gutting it out. He's not feeling the best. He's kind of had a rough week. Everybody, hopefully he gets a little bit more better for tomorrow night after we kick that Eagle ass tomorrow night. Because I'm feeling a win. I'm feeling strong, Phil. I don't know. Me and you haven't talked. We don't know exactly. I don't know how you feel, real.
Yeah, and I'm on some
gonna be fun.
Coughs, stuff and stomach stuff. So it's just like if I say some crazy stuff, you can just blame it on that. So
I'm on some stuff too. Cheers.
Oh, some good stuff. I like that. That's a different kind of cough syrup.
Homemade apple cider and some apple crown. So cheers, people. I've had a long week, and I haven't seen. It feels like I haven't talked to Phil in a long time, and I'd like to leave him alone because I know he's a busy man at work, and we'll text a little bit. But he said the other day, "Oh, I'm not feeling great, or I'm sick." I'm like, "Yeah, that's not good."
Yeah, if I just come out and volunteer that information, it's not normal.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't anything that you asked.
Yeah, no, he's like, "Oh, I'm sick." I think he was putting out the seed that, and I don't blame him because I got news for you.
Thank you, brother.
If I'm running a fever, I can't function.
I can't.
I don't care if it's 100.
I was having to do work, and my mind was like I was trying to switch over, and it was just, oh man, it just wasn't switching. The gears weren't going. They're like a little grinding occasionally in there. Got to put my foot on the clutch first, and But one thing that I would love to see is not for the Dallas to put their foot on the clutch to slow down, because Dallas's offense has been amazing, and of course led by his truly Dak Prescott that I have here in a nice little, hey Dak, this is to you because of how you've been playing. Let's see if you can keep it up and actually become a true warrior in that sense. But I like of course them going into this matchup. Bryan, tell me, how are you feeling about it? Go in any way you want, and please take control of the show, sir.
Yeah. Let's all give Phil a round of applause for sucking it up. I don't know what buttons he's hitting. I am looking at it over here. I see Rhonda Lovelace in the house. She's been on my streams a lot. I really appreciate it. Rhonda, we got Rhonda, Crystal Caramel Corn, Michael Dana, Brad Harris, the man, the myth, the legend. We got, let's see, who else? Lord Nova, my man from down the street. What up, my man? Kiana's in the house. Twiz, the enemy this week. Roland's Review. Stacy, Eastside wants to come in. Yeah, Phil, Eastside actually said, go Astros, or no, he said, go Texans and go Phillies. Or Phils, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, we give him
really, dude.
We give him his but no love returned. I
always
understand.
Nice to him, so whatever.
That's a lot of hate, man. So all I can think of is that somehow he got his heart broken. Like he was going after a girl, and some Cowboy fan got the girl, and he's like, those Cowboys,
you got Bobby Murphy in the house, big Eagle fan. Good luck to you, sir, man. We'll see. Glimmer Man. Let's see who else. Regina Green, my sister from another mother. Ultra Cowboys, $700 million for Otani. Yeah, my son texted me that. That's crazy. So, Mark Holmes is in the house.
We're gonna win tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. So, like they're telling me, suck it up.
I logged into I didn't get done work till like 5:30, 26-ish. So I logged in on the way home to drive to listen to. I didn't know what the hell I was listening to. I saw some Eagle fan holding court on Mark's live stream today.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he
I
literally
saw that
wouldn't
brief.
shut the hell up. So I
He
logged
already
in, and I couldn't get a word edgewise.
He already recorded his video, so don't worry about that.
I couldn't get a word in edgewise, so I got home, fired up the computer before I got a shower, and I said, "Let me log on." So once I got a chance to talk, I tried to talk, but man, he could talk. He could talk.
Troy,
It was a crowded room. So, what's up, Troy Daniels? What's up, buddy? Elena Walker, how are you, sweetie? You okay?
Haven't seen Troy in a while.
Yeah, I know. He was. I was glad to see him. So I saw him the other day, and
What's
I
up,
saw
Mark?
him
The
again.
Godfather. The
Godfather was in the house. But obviously, the elephant in the room here. There's a mega game tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. I thought we were.
There is a game. Game time. He was talking too damn much. Kiana, I was trying to get in word edgewise, but it's tough on that show. That's why I kind of stay away and then I try and come in. And once I start talking, just keep going because it's hard to get a word in. But regardless, it's all fun. Big game tomorrow night.
Oh, between who? Tell me.
Eagles and the Cowboys. I'm surrounded by Eagle fans, and I'm surrounded by quiet Eagle fans, Phil.
No.
It is so quiet here. They are expecting the worst, hoping for the best. That's the best way I could say.
I think even if you're a confident fan on either side, I think that's the approach you're taking to this because it's a rival game. It doesn't matter if you're going against Washington. We all know Washington and New York and stuff, but you would still have that thing in the back of your mind where you're just like, well, maybe we won't take care of business, and this rival's going to get our number. So of course, it's understandable. San Francisco's taking it to both of us, and it's just. How do you respond when you're coming back from it? I mean, when you talk about that record, I think I saw Brian Broaddus go into a little bit of a deep, or it was someone else. I think it was from Shane and RJ. They were diving into the after San Francisco type of stuff, and most of the time it's a losing record for that team coming off, and of course, but this year hasn't been that way. I think it's been 3-0 when teams have had that opportunity where they're coming off of a big thing against the 49ers. And Dallas was one of those teams, they lost, of course. And the following week, they turn around and they win the game. So, Philly has some stuff there. The record's working on their side. Dallas's record's working on their side. So it's a lot of clashing from both sides. And you haven't even gotten to the players or coaches yet.
Yeah. Well, Mark Holmes says, Philly 500 says it's all business this week. I got news for you, Mark. They are feeling the pressure here in South Jersey and the Delaware Valley. The tri-state area, as they like to say, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and Jersey. They are feeling the pressure. The quiet means
Twiz.
scared.
Did you lose a bet, sir? Did you lose a bet?
Apprehensive. He did. He lost the bet.
What
I will
sick,
say
so
is, I say there's more pressure on the Eagles tomorrow night than Dallas. And I only say that because the Eagles, by beating Dallas tomorrow, they're so close. They could taste it. By beating Dallas tomorrow, they could pretty much end Dallas's chances
of that first,
of winning the division.
Of the division, there's many things that kind of fall apart.
Yeah. But
there.
I mean, it's pretty much out of reach at that point based on the Eagles' remaining schedule. But if Dallas wins, and this is the more important thing, regardless of who ends up winning the division, because I know, well, if they both win out, then it goes to the Eagles. It forces you to have to play, okay? Which is all I want. I want my team to play. I don't want my team taking time off, unless, So I expect your team to have to play every one of these freaking
Let me ask you a question. I have to ask everybody in the chat as well, too. When you're within the same division, so you're tied. It doesn't, and you got the matchups between each other. Let's say that's tie. Don't they go to the division before they go to conference when you're within the same thing? Or is it conference straight up? Because if they won out, then Dallas would have, that upper hand. But when you go to the conference, for example, because they would be tied. Right? They would be tied in the division. Right. And because let's say they do.
Tied in the division.
So let's say right now they tie. They would actually have 4 wins in the division, Dallas would, compared to Eagles 3. And so you know how they would possibly take, but if it's conference like you're saying, or then of course that's where
Eagles
they would
still
have
to
the
play the
upper
Giants
hand.
twice. I'm saying,
But if
assuming
you say
both
they
teams
win out,
win
that's what I'm saying. You said win out, of course.
Yeah,
But
they would have to win out, and Dallas would have to win out.
and they would
end
be
up with the same
tied in the
divisional
division record. Then they would go to conference, which we lost like
But then
three
it goes
times,
to
right?
conference. As of now, assuming both teams win out, we would lose at that point. Even though it's weird, tomorrow night when we win, we will be leading the division.
Yeah.
But if you
look at the overall conference,
now
this
is the good news, people. If the Eagle, I'm already calling for an Eagle loss the following Monday night at Seattle. Okay,
that's big.
I'm calling for a loss there. So we could actually lose one of the two, whether it's not. It can't be a NFC. It couldn't be Detroit, and it couldn't be last week. The last week against Washington. But that would afford us a loss either at Buffalo or at Miami.
Here's
Not
the
that
thing.
I want to. We could afford a loss because if Eagles lose tomorrow, then Eagles lose again against Seattle or one of the other three because they have all NFC games left. Then that would give us the advantage. So let's just friggin' win tomorrow and go from there.
Yeah.
A lot of ifs and buts and candy and nuts and yada yada. Let's just get a win. And
see, when I look at that stretch for Dallas, like even if we, for example, win tomorrow, I just don't, I would love to see if they could ride that wave. I guess it really depends on how do they win. How is it they win those games that will really determine for me how those next two will go. Because, I mean, a 3-game stretch like that, if they could go 3-0, that would be awesome. But, man, it's just the ups and downs of some of these teams, especially against a team like Miami. That's going to be tough, man. So they got to start it out right, and tomorrow that's that point. This is where it starts.
Yeah, definitely.
It's I like it, Brad. Thank you.
As a Cowboy fan, tomorrow night, not the team. Just we're talking us fans are kind of in a no-win type situation. Because if we lose, it'll be I told you. You can't win against a good team with a winning record. You're a second tier. And I will say right now, if we lose tomorrow night, we don't deserve the division.
No.
I mean,
we
don't deserve it. But I mean, that's what it would be. If we were to win, when we win tomorrow, it'll be, Eagles, as long as they win out, we're fine. We always knew we were going to split. And let's face it, when you guys get to the playoffs, you're going to choke. So expect that narrative to come in too. Not all the fans, not necessarily people in here. I don't see Hamid, so he probably would say that. But everybody else, I think, is pretty fair-minded.
I can see my whole thing is I can see if we did lose, they give extra confident. Of course, matching up in the playoffs, it's hard to beat a team three times in a season. And I think that
was another thing. Oh well, okay, well, we had to lose now because it's tough to beat you 3 times. There would be, which is all BS. The bottom line is Eagles need this game tomorrow. You want the division and a chance at the number 1, then you need to win because you can't have any slip ups. But I really feel confident about this game. I think the Eagles will come out. I think the Eagles are going to score, and we'll get into all that later. But let's break down. I mean, I don't know where your overlays are. Where do you want to start? I was going to start with the Eagles defense.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Listen. Now, I just want to shout out to my Eagle people in here. I see we got Twiz, Bobby Murphy. I don't see I see Elena in the house. I don't see anybody else. So, let's listen. Don't hate me. These are just facts, okay? Ultra Cowboy, what up, my man?
Hey, don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
Eagles defensive stats. These aren't good stats. These aren't stats I'm pulling out of thin air to try and throw back at you. We're gonna start. I literally have this could, and Phil's gonna hate me, but I literally have like 25 items. So this is basically. So Eagles defensive stats not very good is what I said. Not tackling very well. They make a lot of business decisions in their secondary. Phil, they don't like to make tackles. They don't. Now I'm not talking the defensive line. That's the one strength of
they have an amazing
of this team.
Yeah.
a lot of times they'll show blitz, but they very seldom blitz. They're always like, "Oh, we're gonna come," yeah, and then they'll back out of it. And um, the one good thing about this defense is they put their hands up a lot. So expect a couple batted balls down. If they can't get the Dak, they will put their hands up. You know, um, but the Eagles are one of the worst. I didn't realize this. They're literally one of the worst defenses in the red zone. Teams are scoring, which is, weird in that first matchup. Dak threw for 374, 3 touchdowns, but we struggled in the red zone. Scary as it sounds, if we didn't struggle, he probably would have thrown for 450 yards. Um, I mean, he really had his way, but this is one of the worst teams in the red zone, Phil. They're the worst team
it's
in
a
the
little different.
NFL.
It's a little different from the last time we met.
Yeah, this team is the worst. They're 32 out of 32 teams in third down on defense. I repeat, they are last in the NFL on third down defense. That's big play Slay. That's Bradbury. That's Bradley Roby, who's horrendous in the slot. That's Blankenship, who can't cover much. He's good in the and Bayard is not doing well. Not. I mean, and I just went through 4 of them. But is that a shock to you? As good as they are on the defensive line, that they're that horrible on third down and in the red zone?
Well, I mean, when you look at them last year, I mean, and they had a better roster put together. Yeah, they were still kind of questionable. I mean, there was a lot of questions there. There was a lot of stuff they were passing them, and then to me, it downgraded from what a year ago. Especially when you lock up a corner like that for a big contract. That to me, I don't think there's any body of work that tells me that he should have been paid like that. And then, but at least the strong side, I like Slay. I there's times where he gets beat and stuff. What corner does it?
He's not the same guy.
He's not that same younger dude.
No.
But I love his attitude. I think he's probably the bright spot in there.
What up, Weed?
Bayard is great at the run. I don't know about the pass part itself.
Right, exactly.
So there's a lot of stuff there. But I mean, that defensive front, I mean, it definitely makes up for it. Remember, it just reminds me of that Carolina Panthers, when Josh Norman was there. Was Josh Norman really any that great? No, that defensive line was just crazy pressure all the time.
And, they're going to be fired up. But what I will tell you is their defensive line the last couple weeks, they start out decent, like the first 2 drives against the Niners, but they're leaking oil a little bit. They're hitting that rookie wall. Now, Jordan Davis, he's not a rookie per se. He didn't play a lot last year. So, in my opinion, he's a big boy. But Jalen Carter, they're starting to allow more of a push. And I think it matches up well with us, with our offensive line starting to round into shape and gel. Like I was saying a few weeks ago, that's what we needed to stay healthy and gel.
Well, I mean, last week you could tell. I mean, there's a young defense there, and I'll point this out. Like, when you look at the Eagles, there's a lot of their guys that are not used to this long of a season, and this is the second part. This is where they'd be playing bowl games, and so now you have to push that main, that next second win, really, that veterans tend to get. Okay, there's a dip in the middle of the season, and then all of a sudden they come busting out. And you don't want to peak at the right time, the wrong time and stuff. So
good one, Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby. And we'll see how he goes in the next couple of years. But I think that's where when you don't have those rookies contributing to your main offense. Schoonmaker needs to be getting the ball because Ferguson's not stepping up. And that's not the case at all. Hankins and Osa are doing their thing. That's why you don't see Mozzie and they're having to do it. So it's just as much as they're not performing great, I mean, they're not performing terribly either. I mean, there are some times where you see these guys get beat. But I'm interested to see how our offensive line, I think, to me, it's the trenches, to me, everywhere. Where you're talking about our offensive line going against their defensive front, which is amazing. Our offensive line has been playing a lot better since some of those games, not allowing some sacks. But, of course, you need to get help with Terrence Steele. Can't be just leaving him one-on-one, just chips and stuff like that. So, But when I flip it, and I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant, but when I flip it, I see, the offensive line for the Eagles. We all have said our piece with what happens over there. Whether it's the holdings or the false starts that are not being called. Push that aside. It's a great offensive line. Defensive end, I think it just needs to be Armstrong, Lawrence, the big guys going against them. Let Parsons go up the middle against Kelsey and all those guys, and I'd rather see that matchup. Not to say that Parsons won't do it, but I think a bigger guys on those defensive tackles is going to be way better because Parsons, again, we all know he likes to blow up that field and he leaves room for Hurts to run in. So that's where I dive into the whole, hey, Bosa saying we made a blueprint for the Eagles and everything. How much do you take into that? Do you think that's truth? It's like when I look at it, I can see some truth, but the blueprint, I can't tell you. I can't say that's the case.
What's that? Rush 4 blueprint? Is that what
Rush
about?
4, let drop 7.
You gotta have the personnel for that. It's easy to say. Just rush 4, but you can't let him sit back there and tap and tap and tap either, because then these guys are very talented. That's but I like it. Like we always say, our ends got to stay disciplined. This is a game where what Jalen Hurts has been doing, he's been rolling out a lot, buying time, or if you try and blitz or get lane, if you're not very disciplined in your lanes, you have to avoid him rushing through the B gap. You have to avoid that. You got to that's where he gets his chunk plays. He likes to shoot through the B gap when you apply pressure and then head towards the sideline. That's his MO. And in theory, yes, you want to rush 4, drop everybody, but the key is you got to be able to get there. Now, you brought up, we're going to jump back and forth, and that's fine. Yeah. My main concern is Hassan Reddick can't do what he did the first time, even though it was a very close game. He had his way with Steele. Steele's playing a hell of a lot better now than he did in Philly, but we need to use whoever, Schoonmaker, whether it's Ferguson, we need to chip on that side, not every down, not all the time, but we need to make sure he doesn't take over the game. I have a lot of interesting stats, but like about Josh Sweat. Like Josh Sweat, he's a decent player, but in the fourth quarter, he leads the NFL in pressure. So you want to be in a situation where you're not having to drop back and pass every down in the fourth quarter.
Or if you're preparing for it. You're not blindsided by, oh my God, Sweat just got some pressure.
But he doesn't do much in the first 3 quarters. That's what's interesting. But he leads the NFL in fourth quarter pressures. Like he's a money player, and that's great. But you got to be aware. That's why we need to make sure we dot our I's and cross our T's. Getting back just to the defense, they give up a lot of big chunk plays, this defense. They do. Last week, I know we don't necessarily have a Debo. I think, listen, the first time we played the Eagles, Phil, Brandon Cooks was just a shell of himself. Mm-hmm. And he had a little bit of a coming out. I think he had 3 or 4 catches.
I thought it was like 1 catch he had for that.
Oh, is that what it was? But it was a touchdown, right? Was it a touchdown? I don't know. But anyway, he wasn't like his normal. He ain't like he is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, good luck. Good luck, covering him. You're going to have to get pressure. Eagles don't normally blitz, like I was saying. They normally show blitz and back out. If you blitz, good. Dak is the best in the league against the blitz. So go ahead. I think that would be a mistake.
But if you don't, he's also the best in the league. Not. It's kind of like the zone. You go against zone, he's beating that. You give it against man, he's beating that. So it's just there's a lot of there that they have to disguise. And if you get pressure on him, obviously, he's a big guy to bring down, but he doesn't, sometimes, I have seen more recently where he's thrown the ball away. So that's kind of been new. And that's nice to see as well. But of course you can't be throwing it from the pocket. So I'm interested to see how this O-line handles the front for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah. I think the best matchup that we could do, I think like an offense or defensive quarter, they have to look at, okay, what matchups do we have to do? What do we need to do? The matchup that we need to get, this player's hot for us, is Jake Ferguson. We need to get
CD Lamb.
Reed Blankenship on Jake Ferguson. That is a win 9 out of 10 times. Jake Ferguson is starting to really explode on the scene. Reed can't hang with him. Reed's good in the box. He's not really good in coverage. We want that matchup. There's another matchup I want. I want CD Lamb in the slot. They can't cover him in the slot. They just can't. Bradley Roby. This is where I go back, Phil. I say, there's a reason why you're available in the middle of the season. You're not good anymore. He's horrendous. Eli Ricks. If he's on the field, attack him. Because look, just like the Eagles in the first game, they attacked Jordan Lewis. Eli Ricks, number 36, is horrendous. So this is why when I talk to guys like Brad in the chat, and he's, Brad's over the top. He's going to say we're going to do, and I'm sure he believes that. But Brad, I'm with you. Offensively, we're going to roll. We are going to roll. We're going to score points. I'm not saying the Eagles won't make some plays, but I think the Eagles are going to score too. I just do. I think they know how important this game is. Expect the shootout.
Yeah.
So
I agree
expect
too.
the shootout.
I agree. I definitely agree.
As much as I love everything I'm saying,
yeah,
Eagles are going to score.
I know
So
everything
expect
points to that Dallas can roll away with this, but again, I don't trust that feeling yet. It's just they haven't.
If anybody's blowing anybody out, I'm sorry to say
would
it'll
be
be
this
Dallas
way. Yeah.
blowing Eagles. We've blown out the Eagles a few times at home.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody's I'm not calling for a blowout.
No.
But if anybody blows out, Dallas won't shit the bed at home. We've won 14 in a row. We
love that,
average
Richard.
close to 40 points at home. We're not going to not score. So that's what I'm telling Eagle fans. You guys are going to have to come with
That's true.
35 to 40 points. Okay, so if you're that confident that you can against our defense, don't go by what you saw last week. And Phil, I made this comment earlier. I said, I would take Seattle's top 3 receivers over the Eagles' top 3 receivers. I don't see how anybody could. I mean, the weapons that we had to deal with last week.
First two are really good. I have to give them credit.
Well, you got
AJ Brown, I
Jackson
really
Smith
like it.
and Jigba.
Yeah, and Smith tends to kind of sneak around and do his yardage that way. I hardly ever see it where he's on guys on him and he's catching
you
it.
Got DK,
But
you got
where's that
Lockett,
third one?
And
Yeah.
you got Njigba.
I mean,
That's
Goddard's coming
scary.
back maybe. I wonder how much
I
of a.
understand that, but how?
Oh
is
no,
it?
no! But when I look at the speed and all that kind of stuff, and then let's be real too, man. It's just we've all talked about Jalen being the running quarterback that he is. He's just, and San Francisco's talking about their whole thing. He can throw sometimes, but he's not going back there slinging it 40 times a game and just you're putting up 400, 500 yards. I mean, it's just that's not something that they can go by. That's why mostly everything is rotated in the running game. And what San Francisco just kind of shows that, hey, if you don't have him, run, he's just not that great at reading defenses. I think it's just stuff they need to work on. Your wide receivers coming back to the ball. There's just a whole lot there. But the offensive line, I mean, they were giving him plenty of time. So, and we know, and let's be real, there's another part of this that you have to bring in, and I'm sorry, but it's just got to be talked about. The ref that's being, given this game has decided a lot of Eagles games.
7-0 under him.
Yes, and so what is the NFL really kind of giving there if that's automatically like that? 21 flags compared to like 3 or 6, I can't even remember anymore. It has a problem this year, and I'm not going to say that something isn't going to happen on the other side that may benefit us as well. It's just we've been complaining about this the whole season about just them getting involved, even if the calls were for us. It's just the involvement of them and slowing this game down, and it's kind of ridiculous. Do you see them getting involved again?
This referee crew likes to call false starts. So that's the one good thing.
But not the good ones, not the ones that actually happen.
I think there's going to be. I'm telling you now. I think there's been a letter sent. Everybody's complaining about Kelsey. He's been called as of late. He does that twitch, which is a penalty. But Lane Johnson false starts or gets a jump. Now it's a more of an advantage at home. Now, in talking with DMV, who's in Dallas, he was saying how electric it is with Cowboy fans there. So expect, and the stadium has been unusually loud this year. Expect AT&T to limit
Oh my God,
that
yes, David.
advantage that Eagles normally have at home and getting that
And-
half a count jump that really should be a penalty, but whatever. It is what it is. But just real quick, before we get on to the offensive side of the ball for the Eagles, Bradbury has given up 7 TDs this year. So you got big play Slay, who's not doing well, and Bradbury, who's already given up 7 TDs. I'm telling you, if the Eagles can't get any pressure, they don't blitz much, and if they do blitz, Dak is number 1 in the league against the blitz. That's just where I say people just say, "Oh, you're just talking because you think you're a Dallas fan." No, I really think Dallas is going to score a shit ton of points. So that's where I look at our defense. As our defense, we had one real. I mean, last week we made plays when it counted, but we gave up a lot of yardage. You think we're going to have back-to-back weeks like that? I mean, and if we do, I think we could outscore the Eagles. I think, Phil, what the Eagles are going to try and do is run the crap out of the football, and that would be the smart thing to do. Keep our offense on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the key of the game, is our defensive line stopping the run. Stopping the friggin' run. Stop the run. If we can do that, then we are golden. And if they can run, because remember I said the stat where the Eagles are worst on third down on defense? Eagles are one of the best teams in the league on third down on offense. Eagles at home against us kept converting on third down time and time again. If we would have stopped half of them or a quarter of them, we would have won the game. So there's a lot of mini battles that we have to look forward to tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to the game. I know that. So, but let's get to the chat. What's up, Richard Royster? How are you, buddy? Hamid's in the house. What up? He's showing his face. The quiet. Oh, look at that. 38-34. Mr. Look at him.
At least I can get behind that one. At least it's understandable there.
Yeah, it is. That's understandable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the ones I've seen where they're like 52-17. I'm like, all right, come on, guys, really? You're really?
Brad says 30, 38, 43, 49, 45, 41. That's what I said, Brad. I like a lot of points scored by us. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Let me see here. Let's see now. Yeah. So I mean, I have some more stuff. We can get to the offense, but anything you'd like to bring in at this point
on the defense?
Well, anything. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We can go to the offense, but how about our? I
think our safeties. I think our safeties are going to play a big role in this. I mean, they're going to have to play amazingly great. They got to play. They got to cover a tight end. They're going to help stop the run, support it, help in coverage. So they're going to have to be all over the place. And if they're not on one of those levels, it could be a long night for the Cowboys. So I as much as I look on the defensive line, getting pressure, it's the safeties to me that are going to be really determining this game and how the Cowboys take care of that offense. So.
Yeah, I like your as sick as you are. I thought you nailed the point. I think one of the keys to our defense is going to be our safeties.
I might have to take more medicine on before I get on.
Yeah, yeah. We need to play well at safety tomorrow night. That's the one area I would say that has been underwhelming this year.
Love Thomas.
I love Thomas, but they don't play him enough. It's like Dono. He had that injury in training camp. He's starting to play a little better, Donovan Wilson, but he's not doing the best. J-Ron Curse is having a meh year. Malik Hooker, you're not hearing about. He's not giving up a lot. But the Eagles did pick on Jordan Lewis last game. But
see it again.
I would say I would love to see Wanye Thomas, but, it almost reminds me of a player that they're holding out for the playoffs type of deal, like they did with Israel Mukuamu. Even though we haven't seen Mukuamu, he's been banged up. But I kind of think that we have answers for the Eagles. The Eagles are going to score, people. Don't think we're going to hold them to 3 points or 10 points. They're going to score. So this is going to be the battle. Dak, you want MVP? Go win the game. Go out. That's just what needs to happen. Whether that's fair or unfair. Now, if we lose 40-37 and Eagles and Dak is, 30 for 35 with, 3 touchdowns, 1 running, and no interceptions, and we still lose, well, then that's not Dak Prescott. But we'll wait and make that determination. But this is an opportunity for him to beat, from what everybody is saying, is one of the best teams in the NFL. Now, we know their defense is one of the worst teams in the NFL, even with that great D-line. So it's going to be a very interesting dynamic. I think they know they got to run the ball, meaning the Eagles. Expect the run. What would you do, Phil? Would you defer or would you play offense?
I would always defer. I always defer.
So you're good.
I like
that.
having the second.
But
and ball,
even
the
if they
second.
got the ball, went down, and scored a touchdown, you still get the ball in the second quarter. Don't be alarmed. I'm actually hoping that if we do defer, even if we give up, just try not to give up a touchdown. That's the key. Give up field goals, because as the game gets going,
I agree. Ultra.
I don't think they're going to stop us. I just don't.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff in here. Bobby Murphy says, if Geno Smith can score 35 on your defense, I'm positive Hurts can. My whole thing with Geno, when I look at that game, man, he doesn't really matter what defense you really put it out there. He was playing a really great performance. So, I mean, dropping it in the bread basket, what corner is going to get that over the shoulder to Metcalf? It's just, to me, he was playing a lights-out game. Metcalf was playing his best game of the season. I think everybody was. And so, I have to put that more on that. I mean, when you watch football and you can see it, they were just playing some really great football that night. It was a great Thursday night football game. It was a back and forth, and if you're a fan of football, even if it's your teams, of course, the roller coaster feeling of it is not amazing. But when you look back, you can just see two, gladiator type of teams really fighting for positioning later on in the playoffs and stuff like that. So it's just it's great to see. It's great to see.
Yeah, Seattle is in desperate mode. And they're still in the thick of the playoffs, but that's what that was last week. Geno had been the healthiest he had been. He's still a little spotty this week in practice. I fully expect them to play tomorrow. I expect them to keep it within a field goal to the Niners, maybe upset them. Don't worry, Eagle fans. Keep talking about Geno. You're going to see him next week. Yeah. You're going to see him. He was really good.
Yeah, we'll see how he follows it up, man.
You saw last year. He was good all year last year.
Yeah.
He's been banged up. I mean, I just don't. You got to give a team credit. So you think Dallas's really good defense is going to have 2 off weeks? We still won the game. That's the beauty of it. Deron Bland, had a pick 6. We have 10 days rest. We are ready to roll, people.
Yeah. It's just I look at that and just that's what I'm looking at. I want to see how this defense comes out, how they play. Just because when I look at, of course, that game, I don't want to say it's an excuse, because when I talk about it, it's just an insight. Okay, this defense plays a certain amount of games within a particular, a 2-week and a little bit over 2 weeks of football days. 4 games, man. It's the equivalent of getting hit by a car and then having to you get hit by a car, you get something like that kind of force. What's your doctor telling you to do? It's not go to work in 3 days. It's laid down, and so these guys are getting back up. They're working out. They're getting their game plan. There's a mental exhaustion and, of course, your physical exhaustion. So I give them credit. Both teams were like that, Seattle and Dallas, and both gave it a great game. I'm interested to see how all these teams play. Going into this week. What's going on? Drunk on the Rhine Cooler.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's rivalry week, and it's good trash talking. I like it.
You.
I really like it. Let's switch over to the offense, man. Let's as we were talking about this defense and what they're doing. This offense, of course, we rotated around Dak. Of course, just what he's doing in the offense, whether he's balling and not throwing interceptions, all that kind of stuff, you put that to the side, is how he's commanding this offense. He gets to the line, he puts people in spots, he switches some coverage, gets somebody in motion. He's not afraid to use his legs when he needs to. He's not the fastest guy out there, but of course, if you use the threat of being that dual quarterback, it opens stuff up for your wide receivers, and your wide receiving core is definitely doing its part as well. So how do you look at this offense, and how do you see it performing tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think we're gonna perform well from start to finish. I'm not saying we won't punt the ball like last week.
We don't
I
shoot
think
ourselves in the foot here and there, right?
yeah, I think you'll see some punts, but listen, this Eagle team is not gonna stop our offense. But I would like to see CD in the slot a little bit, not consistently, because there's one school of thought that says, well, if you put him in the slot, it's easier to double team. There's more crowd there. Dak's throwing through real tight windows. He's seeing the field really well. Bradley Roby can't cover him, so I just don't want to stick him out on an island all game. I like the fact of bringing him in the slot.
Well, I think that's a key with. I think that's the key with a lot of the stars on this team. Sorry, I didn't interrupt.
No, yeah. Well, if you have, yeah, that's cool.
No, because when I was saying that, when you put CD in the inside and you put CD on the outside, same thing with Parsons, man. Don't just put him on the outside. Let him work that middle.
Parsons.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't want Parsons real quick on Dallas defense. I don't want him lining up against Lane Johnson or Siamalu. I really don't. I don't like that matchup. He gets stymied when he goes up against those big boys. Siamalu is 6'8".
Big dude.
I think I want to see him over Kelsey.
That's a huge bitch.
Dick. Exactly. Dickerson. That's what I want to see. Put Sam Williams out there. Put some speed rushers out there.
Yeah, some bigger guys.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but our offense.
Come back, sorry.
I think, like I pointed out, we need to get Jake Ferguson the ball. We need to keep up the east to west. We need to get Turpin and CD the ball. We could, use them running the ball. That's been very successful for us. Like I said, this Eagle team doesn't want to tackle. If we're gonna run, you need to run at the corners. You run to the outside, like me and Phil have been talking about. Mm-hmm. Stop running. You can probably get to that in the third and fourth quarter, running
up the middle.
Count. Yeah, I would more try and hit the edges against this team. I just think that this game sets up. I think the crowd is going to really help us tomorrow, and just want to tell the Eagles fans it's not the end of your season. I mean, you still have a decent chance of winning this division, but tomorrow night will not be your night. So just get ready. So I'm just telling you, Mark wants to couch it. I think the Eagles will score. I think they.
Oh yeah, I definitely think so too.
They're going to score a lot of points,
mm-hmm.
but I think they're going to be coming from behind. I really do. So.
Yeah, they know how to attack. Yeah, they definitely know how to attack this defense. I mean, they see him twice a year. The coaches, everything. It's a little bit more personal. So of course, I totally get it that they're going to match up very well. So yeah, I my kind of score reflects that. But again, I see this where you said it before. If a team's going to blow something out, this is where I see them doing it. There's a little bit of a hangover from last week with the 49ers game, I can see that sluggishness, that getting down because you're down again and you don't have that, okay, we need to just stay calm and come from behind. So, yes, I can see that part happening. I just think that both teams can get focused when they need to, and even when the Eagles have been kind of put down to the side, they've been able to come back into the game and kind of make it. I think last week was their first time where they weren't in it,
Well, and I've been hammering their secondary, and rightfully so. And we've been talking about how good their D line is, even though it's starting to show its wares. I think the Eagles
I agree.
are studs. Yeah, they're studs on the inside, but another real weakness is their linebacking core. Now, they may get Zach Cunningham back. He's off and on in practice.
I don't know how Shaq
Leonard play.
Yeah, I don't know how Shaq Leonard's going to come in, but he'll help the running game, but the passing game.
They already said he's not going to play many snaps.
Yeah.
But Zach Cunningham, if he's 100% full go, but he has that soft tissue injury, good luck with that. He's their best linebacker. They need him because Nicholas Morrow is horrendous. They let go Christian Ellis. They should have kept Ellis and cut Morrow. Morrow is just he can't find his way out of a wet paper bag. He's horrible. So he's lost out there. The fact, and they only kept him because he's a veteran. Whereas Christian Ellis, he's shown more signs of being athletic.
And
now,
then he got picked up, right? They got picked up by the Patriots.
They cut him, and they probably wanted to bring him back to the practice squad, but I think he was picked up by the Patriots.
Yeah, they picked up by the Patriots, but I think like 6 or 7 teams tried to claim him, so it wasn't like he was getting
Ellis.
back.
I don't know why they did that. Morrow sucks.
It's like us. Remember with that stupid Ridgeway thing, man? God damn, that still pisses me off.
But
I really
Darius
like
Leonard, aka Shaq Leonard, they're saying he's going to play, but not that much. And listen, I could care less because we're not a team that's going to run. We're going to run to the edges if we're smart.
Mm-hmm.
With him, if Darius Leonard's going to play with Nicholas Morrow, they can't stop the pass. That's the whole problem. That's why he left Indianapolis. They went with rookies and young guys because he's only a run stopper.
Yeah.
And he went to Philly because they're desperate and they're going to play him in passing downs. Well, we're going to take advantage of it. The thing is, he's not going to play much. So
I think
they better
he was
have
a good
Zach
pickup for
Cunningham,
them.
and he better stay healthy because if not, that's another area. Your defensive line can't do everything.
Yep,
that's the thing. They can't. So that's why I love this matchup, Phil. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's going to be a beautiful night tomorrow. And if not, I'm going to rip some people.
Yeah, I mean,
Rowdy's head may be gone.
Any Sunday, man, right? It doesn't matter,
any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday. So we want to go through the NFL and talk about NFL stuff. Oh man, I'm not gonna. That's been doing really well. So I'm just staying over here.
Listen, man, I'm just telling you right now that he's involved. I have not activated him. I have not. But, I'm just telling you, the Mystic is involved. So, good things are happening. Now you don't want to stand up. So
he's like, now that I've been on camera.
Mystic, please. Don't mess with the Mystic. But, yeah, I just want to touch on a couple more things, and then we'll get to the weekend of football.
Boom, boom, boom.
Where else do I want to go? Well, I'll save that for my prediction. Let me just get. I'm not a professional here. I don't have everything in order. So we'll save that for the prediction. Okay, yada yada. We got that one.
Well, Mystic right now is 3-0, so it's just that's That's not how it is.
Yeah, I hold all that for our predictions.
Unless
so
you're talking about rivals.
I'll run down. We'll do our picks of this week's games.
We're doing picks. I love weed. What's going on, man?
All right, Sunday 1:00 at Soldier Field. It's a ode to a great one back in the day, the Chicago Bears. Let me do my lines here. I got the over under. The Chicago Bears are a 3-point underdog at home against the Detroit Lions.
Man, what do you want me to say, man? I got Detroit in this one. Like, I guess Chicago. Chicago has been playing better football. Their offense looks a little bit better. I just don't think they're contender better. And Detroit right now is a contender, even if they may fall flat on their ass or in their face or whatever. That they're still a contender. And right now, that's where I have to divide the two teams.
Yeah, I would take Detroit minus the 3 at Chicago, but this is a big, the black and blue division.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I would want to take the Bears. They just haven't showed me enough to do that, and I think Detroit needs to get good. And me and Phil will both lay the 3. Another game. This game I like it. I like this game a lot. 1:00 game at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Atlanta Falcons is a 2-point underdog to the visiting Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So we need Atlanta to win this one. I'm not even sure. I think there was like a whole bunch of combinations of things and stuff that happened. I think this division is just so it doesn't have anything together. So to me, the most sense that the football gods would have in here is that they would make Tampa Bay and Atlanta the same record by the end of this game. So I'm going to go with the worst team in Tampa Bay to win this game against Atlanta.
Wow. Me and Phil are on the same side. Give me Tampa Bay to go in and get the dub outright, and I'll take the 2 points. So some of the casinos are giving you a 2.5. I don't need it. I think we win the game outright. I think Atlanta comes back down. As soon as you start saying they're going to win a division, this is where they choke spit the bit.
They're like, not if we have something to say about it.
Yeah. Now, this next game is one of the better 1 o'clock games.
I agree.
I think it's a tough spot for this particular team, but Baltimore Ravens at home, -7.5 against the visiting LA Rams.
Man, like I would instantly look at this, and if I had to go quick, okay, you gotta give me your quick bet. I would say Baltimore. But when I really start to break down this game, I'm gonna go LA Rams with the upset on this one.
Yeah, I'll go Baltimore at home. We finally got to where we normally are.
There we go.
I'll lay the 7.5. I think Matt Stafford gets annihilated in a driving rain in Baltimore. They're a dome team. I don't know. Who knows? But it could be the Ravens. They're usually a good home field advantage.
Yeah.
Next game. This is another decent game. I don't know who's quarterbacking the Browns these days. I think it might.
Browning?
I'm not really sure.
What is that? Walters?
Browning.
I don't even know. No, I think Browning's in Cincinnati. It's like who's on first, what's on second? I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's that
Who's
rookie from the USFL.
Yeah, Walker, something. PJ Walker. I don't know everybody.
He got Cleveland -3 versus Jacksonville. Supposedly, there's an outside chance that
Lawrence could play.
Lawrence, believe it or not, Lawrence suffered no structural damage. We're watching that game last week. We thought for sure. I thought for sure that he was out for the year, and he's not. So shout out to him.
See, so if he plays, I'd probably give Jacksonville a little bit more of the slider edge. But if it's two teams with their backup quarterback, Cleveland's finding a way to win like that. And so I would give the advantage more to Cleveland. So I guess it really depends on what Trevor Lawrence, what happens there.
Yeah, I would think that Jacksonville did almost win even after the injury. So I know that's a tough game because I think Cleveland might just win the damn game. I think
Cleveland's finding ways some way.
Yeah. All right, we got a crap game. This is for the East Side Herald here. New York Jets +3.5 at home against the Houston Texans. Houston Texans are a 3.5-point road favorite with the rookie C.J. Stroud. That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give it to Houston. I mean, to me, I just, no matter what the Jets go with, I see their quarterback being a problem. Their quarterback doesn't want to play quarterback. I mean, it's just kind of, you got a guy in the wing that could possibly, come back because he's listening to dolphin noises while he sleeps. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but, any kind of hope, it's kind of dwindling away as their quarterback just doesn't want to play football. Let's be real, man. Last year he had a chance to really kind of come out and say stuff. He said all the wrong things and did the opposite when he saw a legend kind of come into the door. The way that he's handled this year, he's been off and on, but I mean that's kind of the growing pains at that position, especially in New York. But right now I just kind of look at him and just I don't see any passion to want to play the game. You need somebody there like and I'm going to say this, but it's more of the attitude. I think like a Baker Mayfield where, okay, I'm throwing picks, but I'm the shit, and he's still slinging it. And that's what you kind of need over there in New York. And that's kind of what you're missing.
Yeah, there was rumor that he wasn't excited about going back in. I don't blame the kid being seesawed, but listen, it's the NFL. If they say you're starting, you take the ball and go.
Yes, exactly, man. When's the next time you're going to have an opportunity? You don't know.
Yep. Well, we're both on the same side. I can't take the Jets right now. No, give me the Texans, and the Texans' defense is no joke. So give me the Texans. Next game, 1 o'clock game at the Superdome. The New Orleans Saints are a 6-point favorite against the Carolina Panthers. Another divisional game.
Weirdly enough, I am going to go. Man, I don't know why I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Carolina Panthers on this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Carolina Panthers with an upset because you cannot tell me that Carolina Panthers are the favorite in this game. I think the secondary of Carolina is a little bit tougher than a lot of people give them credit for. The Saints.
A lot of
what's
points
their offense?
For the Saints to give up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're giving up 6 points.
This will give this. I think this will give Young a little bit of a like, hey, this is what the NFL life could be. So I see them pulling this upset up.
Yeah. See, I look at it as in the Superdome, young quarterback. It's going to be loud. I think the Saints get it done. Ugly game. They end up covering. Maybe pick 6 or something. Bryce Young, he's a rookie. He'll be okay, but he's struggling right now. Tough place to play.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Saints have kind of been flopping back and forth, but I think they need this win, and I think they get it. So give me the Saints. Don't worry about the points. Ugly game, though. Next game on the docket, your last 1 o'clock game, Cincinnati Bengals -2 against the Indianapolis Colts.
I think Cincinnati quarterback finally, like last week, he kind of started looking good. He started looking good, kind of finally having control of the offense. He should know the offense. I mean, he's been there enough. So it's just, to me, I look at those two teams, and I think Cincinnati's a little bit more of a I'm going to have to go Cincinnati on this matchup. Even though the Colts, I like them, but I'm going to go Cincinnati.
You got Gardner Minshew outdoors. I think Cincinnati's desperate. They're still holding on hopes, which I don't think, but I'll take Cincinnati. Just if it was more than 3, I probably would go with the Colts, but give me the Bengals. This next game here is probably my favorite game, non-Dallas. I might stream it. We'll see how I feel. I'll make that decision in the morning, but it's going to be raining here, so...
No, you had to be talking about the Vegas and Minnesota game, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it'll be the 49ers. It's a lot. I mean, this line dumbfounds me, but whatever. 49ers -13.5 at home against Seattle. Divisional game that's always tight.
There's a part of me that wants to give Seattle this whole, like the Rams and the 49ers, where they'll give this matchup and they'll be able to overtake them. But I see 49ers right now on a little high, and I don't mind them winning just because hopefully they're going a little streak. They'll go in a little streak, and then that's where they can lose in the playoffs. It's just I'm interested to see how they come off of their very big win. But I got to give 49ers, man. 49ers are at home and everything, so I'm going to go 49ers on this
I think the 49ers are smelling themselves after last week's game. I think Seattle is the real deal, people.
Look at these guys.
Seattle
nice,
is a
guys.
live dog in this game.
I'd be okay with that.
I think Seattle wins the game. I mean, I think Niners win a field goal game. Give me the 13.5. Run to the window on that one. I do. I think Kenneth Walker might be playing. There are 3. Where the Niners are vulnerable is in their secondary.
Yeah.
They
got a lot of injuries at safety.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So give me the 13.5. It's a divisional game. That's ridiculous. But, we'll see. Maybe I'll be proved wrong. But next, Phil's game that he just brought up, the Raiders of Las Vegas are getting a field goal at home against the Vikings with Justin Jefferson.
This is the game that you're going to forget this on with all the other games going on, like Buffalo and KC and Seattle and San Francisco. So you're going to be like, oh, yeah, there's another game over here, and and it's probably going to be the most exciting game out of all of them. But when I look at these two, man, I got to give Minnesota a little bit more of a complete team. Their quarterback is at least trying. Yeah. I don't know even how to use the words correctly. But, I'm going to go Minnesota in this one just because they still trying to hold on to their playoffs.
With Justin Jefferson back. Come on. Now, he's going to explode. First game back in a dome. Give me the Minnesota Vikings. I like it. I'd like Josh Dobbs the rebound.
Yeah, I'm saying it, man.
I like it.
There's a lot there.
Yeah. All right, moving along. This is another one of my games. This
good
that I like.
4:30 games
Kansas
here, man.
City at home -1 to the Bills.
Oh, man!
Good game.
Which Buffalo team is going to? Can you tell me that? Which Buffalo team is going to show up?
It's going to be the team that's going to win the game outright tomorrow. That's going to be the team
which Kansas City team is going to show up?
Kansas City's not.
Are they on a down roll? Is this going to give Buffalo fans something to kind of like hang their hopes
they're gonna
up
win
and get
this
Josh.
game rolling
Because you
into
know how
our
Josh
game.
Allen is. As soon as he go, he does something to bring them back up.
I love the Bills. I love the Bills outright tomorrow.
and
Love
that's
it.
the part where I'm going to go with. I think I go Bills. I go
The
Bills with
Chiefs
this
aren't
matchup.
that good. They're not. They're struggling.
Yeah, they are
I'm
struggling.
telling you.
Even with their weapons.
Bills are desperate too. They can't afford another loss. And it's just making that Eagle win on the road less and less impressive because it seems like, Kansas City's, in the words of Joe Namath,
Lady Libra thinks they're going to
struggling.
go back to their old ways and win 30-10. Oh, good score.
Yeah.
She's been hitting the
Yeah,
scores.
give me Buffalo Bills. Give me the Bills. The Bills. All right, next game, you got the Kellen Moore offense-led Chargers at home, -2.5 against the Denver Broncos. The coach is wigging out in L.A. He's wigging out. He doesn't like the reporters asking him any questions. None of you saw it.
Because he knows he's on the hot seat? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, you got two teams going in different directions here. You got Chargers just right when you think they're not going to look any worse, they go in like win a game like 6-0. Like, can you look bad winning a game? Yeah, I guess you can. They answered that one, and so that's the game of the year when I look at can you win a game very ugly, and I don't mean like a good ugly, like you've been throwing stuff and you're fighting each other back and forth. That's right there is a hockey score, man. That's not even. That's not football. So when I look at this, man, I gotta go Denver. Denver is just more of a complete team right now. They're happy about what they're playing and they're not down on themselves. Coach ain't getting all pissed about stuff. So I gotta go Denver on this one.
I agree. Let's go Denver. Lady Lieber agrees, and so does Troy Daniels. Next game, we're gonna skip over the game of the week, obviously, and go to there's two Monday night games. Which is annoying, but whatever. New York Giants +6.5 at home against the Packers.
Man, I gotta go Packers on this one, man. Packers are playing some really good ball right now, putting together some great football. I mean, to me, that's one of the teams that I'd say if they sneak into the playoffs and they have to go against the San Francisco team, that's the team that could knock them out of the playoffs and everybody be like, whoa. It's those ones that you don't know about. You know, when they tell you about, man, well, do you know your neighbor and stuff? Well, he was always a quiet guy. Well, that's the team, right, man? That's the quiet team that nobody's
Packers
really talking
are playing
about.
Good.
So they're playing complete football, and so I could see them sneaking in and knocking some contenders out of that race in the playoffs. So I'm going to go Green Bay on this one.
And I think because of the weather and how sloppy it's going to be here and rainy and windy, I could see either team, but give me the 6.5 at home. Give me the Giants. I just think that the weather is going to play a factor, and I don't know that Jordan Love is ready for that. I mean, he looked great, so it's hard for me to say that, but it's a lot of points.
I've seen him do better, do good against way better defenses. Let's just be real.
Yeah, it's true. And the last Monday night game is Miami Dolphins -13.5.
Sorry,
against Tennessee.
Miami. It's like I don't even see this
Miami
being
rolls.
This doesn't even.
Miami roll.
That's why they put 2 Monday night games on there. It was like, well, we don't want to. They already booked their hotel room. Let's just go ahead and add a second team.
Now.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
why
like they're staggered.
Just in case one of them gets boring and stuff, the other one you could flip over to the other.
I guess they're. Yeah. Miami minus the 13.5. Troy. Yeah. I agree. So there it is. It sets it up, Phil. It tees it up for our Sunday night matchup at AT&T Stadium. Dallas Cowboys maintain a 3.5-point favorite over the visiting Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas will be wearing their white color rush uniforms and a sold-out I don't know if it'll be sold out. It probably will be. AT&T Loud Stadium. Man, it's going to be exciting.
It's going to be good. I mean, when you look at this matchup here, Eagles have been really good in primetime games. And so, there's a lot there. On the road, they're doing really, really well. They're coming off of a game where they played really bad football. Do they bounce back? We're going to see what type of team are they. This is going to say a lot because we haven't had a lot of those opportunities. Of course, Both teams are going in from getting their butts whooped by a San Francisco team to losing to a team they shouldn't be with Arizona and the New York Jets. So there's a lot of similarities here, and of course the matchups are there. To me, it looks like it favors us, but there's some times where the ref calls with the offensive line not getting the offense, those false starts, things like that. There's stuff that's going to balance that. So your talent is going to need to beat talent, and you need to take advantage of situations. I think this offense with Dak Prescott leading and doing his thing, and Brandon Cooks definitely being on a whole different level than what he was the last time these two teams played. I look at the offense being able to move the ball. Eagles, of course, making a play here and there. As long as Dallas doesn't shoot themselves in the foot with stupid penalties prior to the thing, holdings, things like that, a blatant holding, let's just be real. Because we all know that the holding calls happen on every single play, but are they blatant? Are those ones like some of the ones that you've seen where they're really pulling on somebody? Can we get away from that type of stuff? Can the defense actually line up on sides before the snap happens for us? And can we match up and slow that and get some punts for the Eagles? So I think there's a lot of question marks going into it for both teams. How are they handling what's happening right now in their season? So when I look at these two, I think it's going to be a slugfest. I think both teams are going to be able to make some stops here and there. Both teams are going to shoot themselves in the foot, drops, things like that. But I see the Dallas Cowboys in the end coming out with this victory, and I see it being a score of 33-28. And I'm not sure how it goes through in that sense because, again, man, these are two teams that they're pissed. There's some, whether it's revenge, whether it's, hey, it's in the end of the game, it's business. They're pissed about last week for the Eagles. We're pissed about the previous matchups. So there's a lot of stuff happening. Who will show up? That's going to be the question. And I expect it to be a great game.
Love the scores in the chat. 42-18. Man, if that happens, woo. Wow. I like it, Phil. I like what you're saying, man. We're very close on our score. Listen, this is the NFL, and I'm not couching this. Well, there he goes, just couching it. No, I'm not. I'm just saying, I feel really strongly about it. I also feel like the Eagles are going to score.
Yeah,
all of these games, the other teams are coming in. Not all the teams, but Dallas will give up a drive here or there. I think the key of the game is, believe it or not, Kenneth Gainwell getting the ball in those screens out in the flats. You got to be worried about that.
There were some holdings on those, and that's the thing is when you're not being called.
Yeah. Eagles love to slant on third down, so that's like Jalen's go-to. I expect Deron Bland to jump one of these. He may get beat early, but I expect Bland to get an interception. I'm not saying he's going to get a pick six. Jalen Hurts, for whatever reason, I think he's more healthy now, and I think he may be inclined, knowing how big this game is, to run if it's there. I just don't know if it's going to be there. I think Dan Quinn, there's the blueprint. We're going to be, well, I assume Phil's going to be watching. He'll be watching, but we'll be interested to see his reaction and what happens if we do rush four at times, because that's quote unquote the blueprint. But you got to have a Joey Bosa and everybody else to be able to, Dre Greenlaw and all that. Easier said than done to do that. And another key thing for me is Terrence Steele. We got to give him help at times. We can't allow Hassan Reddick to blow the game up like he did. Even though he blew it up in the first game, we still had a chance to win with 20 seconds to go at the 5-yard line. So, with all that being said, I feel good about the game. I feel as good as I felt. Now, listen, at the end of the day, it's a football game. We can't have all these. We can't have these stupid pre-snap penalties. We just can't be stupid. We can't line up in a neutral zone. Listen, I don't mind having a few penalties. That's just the way this game is these days. You're gonna have penalties, but let's just try and eliminate the stupid pre-snap penalties. That's just stupid.
Yeah, I'd rather have smart penalties. Yeah, the ones where you're about to get beat and they're going to beat you up the top. There's going to be a touchdown.
Sometimes you got to pull a freaking guy down if he beats you.
Yeah, exactly.
It is what it is. But I like Dallas to almost do a 40 burger. I would say do a 40 burger, but I don't know that they're. Let me put it this way: if we get a special teams touchdown, which I don't know, uh, I'm liking Turpin to score. I just can't. I can't imagine that it's on a special teams, but I keep seeing a I just keep seeing a punt return for a touchdown. So that could bring us to a 40, but I have it where Dallas is actually winning pretty comfortably, where the Eagles mount a comeback, score a touchdown, get a 2-point conversion. I like the final score to be Dallas 37, Eagles 31. Eagles make a comeback. They try an onside kick. But we win by 6 points. 37-31 Cowboys. I I see them winning being up like 37-24, 37, there's something like that. Eagles score, go for two, whatever. We win by 6. We cover, we take the over. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored tomorrow night. Um, that's what I like. We can get to a 40 if we get a special teams touchdown, but I just don't see this Eagle team stopping our offense right now.
Yeah,
Dak's,
I just see those
Dak's
certain
taking
things.
it personal.
When I see it, it's like, okay, an occasional play, then maybe the penalties because they love these refs, and then of course maybe a shot in the foot. Those are those little things here and there that would slow them down. That would cause them to stay into the game and make this a closer game. So that's why it's like I see the potential for this Cowboys team to really kind of unleash, but I still need to see it, man. I still
we
want
have
to
to see it.
Yeah.
I agree with you. This is an opportunity to show the world. Now, if Twiz is right and they're able to run the ball, kind of like where you're helpless and they're getting runs or getting 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, well, you're
Thank
dead
you,
in the
Brad.
water. You're dead in the water. If you allow them to run the ball, you just can't do it. I mean, they can run here and there on the drives that they're successful. Try and limit them to field goals. They're going to score touchdowns at some times, but you just can't let them score every time in the red zone.
Yeah.
A lot of points scored. Very exciting game. I expect Dallas to win the game. I'll be very, very, very upset if they let this one slip away. 14-game home winning streak, Phil. Number one, I mean, the quarterback is just unconscious right now. Dak Prescott. Tony Pollard is starting to run the ball good. Deron Bland has 5 pick sixes. Micah Parsons has something to prove. Yeah, D. Law's not getting. I mean, it just goes on and on. I love the Cowboys tomorrow. I love them. I love them. I love them.
Yeah, I think almost every single play, Glimmer, man. Almost every single play. So yeah, man. So I appreciate you holding it down, man. I kind of could take it easy a little bit there, but obviously I had to get my input in there and talk about this game because it's just something that I really wasn't able to do a whole lot of stuff for the past 2 days. That's where I kind of caught up on everything, and even though I wasn't feeling up to it, man, I appreciate you guys giving me the support. Yeah, now it's starting to come back here. So, Brian, you're going to be putting the broadcast up. I'm still trying to decide whether I'm going to be there or not.
Yeah, when I wake up in the morning, I'll make a thumbnail, I guess, or I'll use your thumbnail and add shit to it. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But, yeah, I'll probably start streaming around 4 or something. I might do the Seattle game. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. But obviously, we'll definitely be here. I'll be here for the Cowboy game. We'll see if Phil's going to be good enough to do it as well. It is what it is. He'll be watching regardless. But yes, looking forward to it. Hope to see everybody. You stop by tomorrow night. It'll be fun. Looking forward to it.
Nah, Mike,
what up, Vinny?
You're good, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you jumping in even at the tail end. Let us know your score as well, too. So, Brian, man, it's rivalry week. You know, it's
Rivalry
football
week is wrapping up,
and
it's
as
gonna be a
as
nice
it comes
win.
and goes, whether the outcome, I mean, there's still a lot of football to be played. Both teams, again, they're going into a nicer stretch for them. We're going into a really tough stretch, and this is the first one to start that off. So if they can get it out on the right foot and kind of just put a team game together, that'll make you feel good about going into those next matchups
But
against Bills and of
yeah,
course
and
Miami.
look at it this way, real quick though. Everybody says, "Oh, it's a tough stretch." Look at it as, wouldn't you rather play teams like this on the road? You know, you can say whatever you want. Oh, I want to have an easy schedule so we can win a division, and then what? Go and then have to play a tough team. I'd
Yeah.
rather do this.
Get
This is
this.
perfect for the Cowboys for what they're trying to accomplish. Not just win a road playoff game like last year. This is we want to go to the Super Bowl and win it.
It's a good score.
You know, so how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to beat the Eagles. We're going to go on the road and beat the cover boy, who everybody says was the best thing since sliced bread, who's a interception machine these days, and Josh Allen. We're going to go to Miami and spoil their new year. We're going to come home on Ring of Honor Day. When Jimmy Johnson is being
Oh
inducted
man, that's when I'm
into
gonna
the
feel good.
Cowboys
That's
Ring
when
of
I can.
Honor.
That's when I can feel good about everything.
Like we're gonna smash them, and then we're gonna go on the road and, and finish it off at the left-hand up dumpster fire Washington Commanders. That's how you want to go into the playoffs. You don't want to play cupcakes. We're gonna find a lot about our team over the next month of the season, and I'm ready for it because I think we're hitting our stride and we're playing good. So, let's go, baby. Let's go.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate all the wishes for feeling better. It's definitely something I'm just hoping that it ends because
He's struggling.
yeah, there's definitely have some moments. But again, Brian, I appreciate you holding it down, guys. I appreciate you joining us, sharing, liking, doing whatever, talking crap. We don't mind at all. This is of course rivalry week, and we expect a really good game. I would love to see a blowout with our team, but I'll take definitely the win with some healthy some players coming out at the other end for both sides, man.
That's my quarterback.
So, guys, I appreciate you following everything, and one thing I appreciate you not forgetting to do is
always ring that bell.
Damn right, guys. See you guys later. Take care. Thank you again for the wishes.
Hey, we know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do, you're like a little screw loose type of guy, and that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you? You. No, not me, you. Yes, I am you. Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
Gametime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here,
Cool name. Superpowers?
broadcasting from the illustrious Jobu Studio.
Come on, are you gonna tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil, and of course my co-host, Gametime Brian.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000. I don't even need to hear it.